So you're all done with your dissertation. And now you're at the place where you don't know how to transition what you've written in your dissertation into a peer-reviewed journal article. Well, in today's video, I'm going to take some time and I'm going to talk with you about 3 areas you can look for journal articles in your dissertation. Greetings all, Dr. X here. Good to see ya. All right, we are continuing the series here talking about publications. Now, if you have already written a dissertation, you're in a great place because you have content, you already have data that you can use for a peer-reviewed journal article. Now, if you're an early career faculty member, you're just getting started on the tenure track, you're going to find out very quickly that publishing peer-reviewed journal articles will make a huge difference for you to earn tenure and promotion. Now, I know you may be at an institution where they're saying just publish your dissertation as a book. Well, before you do that, let's see if we can pull out 2 or 3 or more journal articles from your data there and from what you've already written in your dissertation. Let's see if we can pull out a couple of journal articles first. All right. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you about 3 places I think you can go in your dissertation to find content. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you over to the ProQuest site, and I'm going to use dissertations we find there in order to demonstrate to you how easy it can be to pull out journal articles or to identify areas for journal articles. All right, so let's go and head over to ProQuest. So you access the ProQuest website at proquest.com. Now you're going to go ahead and you're going to search for dissertations. We don't need to search all of these areas. We're just going to go right down to dissertations and theses. So go ahead and click dissertations and theses. So we're going to look for a quantitative dissertation on, oh, look, there's one on African American women. So we're going to click on that. And I think I am going to look at this one, Being a Superwoman, the experiences of African American women dementia caregivers and their mental health, a mixed method study. Ooh, that sounds really good. Clicking on the full text PDF. All right, the first place you're going to look is in chapter 2, your review of the literature, your literature review, because you've already spent so much time going back and getting that literature, right? And whether it was thematic or it was a review of the literature that was chronological, you already have a lot of information in there. The key is looking through that information and identifying something that would be a contribution to the field. As I'm looking at this dissertation from Dr. Rhodes, in her literature review, ooh, caregiver burden. Yeah, that looks like it might be something that would look great to do some publications around. Let me zoom in a little bit so that you can see it a little better. So one of the areas she talks about is caregiver burden, including giving some definitions and talking specifically about African American caregivers, national statistics. That could actually turn into something pretty significant for publication. Um, Theories and models, that looks pretty good. Synthesis of prior studies. Oh, that's excellent. She did a lot of synthesizing from previous studies, including looking at issues of race and gender, as she narrows it down to a discussion of the similarities and differences. So if I were talking to Dr. Rhodes, here are the 2 areas I'd have her look at. I like this synthesis she's done on prior studies. That looks pretty extensive. That could be the first place for her to look for a direction for that first journal article. And also at the very beginning, where she starts talking about this concept of a caregiver burden. Now, both of those could be potential topic areas for her to write that first journal article. Now, here I'm going to just take a minute to stop and let you know that when I'm talking about going to look back at your dissertation, I'm not saying you copy and paste chunks out of your dissertation and pull it together like a journal article. No journal's going to accept a verbatim word for word from your dissertation. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to look at these chapters in your dissertation and you're going to use those to inform the outline and the writing of your journal article, right? And so here I think that Dr. Rhodes has some really good content that she would be able to use to as a guide to move her into the writing of those journal articles. Okay, so remember, you can't cut and paste. You actually have to create new um, for your journal article. All right. Back to the dissertation. Okay, the next area I want you to look at for your publication is chapter 3, the methods chapter. So go back and take a look at your methods chapter. Now, here's why I say one of your publications can come from the methods. Because there are so many journals out there that are written for either quantitative or qualitative research methods, you can absolutely find some place to talk about the methods that you use for your research, especially if you use them in some kind of unique way, right? In order to get to answering those research questions. So, look in your research methods chapter. Now, if I were giving some feedback to Dr. Rhodes, I would tell her to definitely talk about why she was pulling and using methods from quantitative as well as qualitative, what worked for her in that research using those methods, what didn't work for her, and what could she have done differently maybe now that the study is over. And she may have talked about that in the last chapter. I don't know. I haven't read this dissertation. I'm just showing you where you can find the information here in the table of contents. But were there any limitations she found from one method over the other? Would she have continued the same study in the same way in the future? I actually think answering those questions could get to some really rich information for a journal article. The other thing I'm seeing here is in her data collection where she starts talking about these different schemas. She brings up the caregiver burden again, but this idea of the superwoman schema, that may actually be something that would be a really good area in order to develop some research and some writing in an article. So, the second place that you're going to look in your search to find content from your dissertation or some direction from your dissertation to write those journal articles, the second place is going to be in research method. All right, so we've talked about the first two. One is you're going to look in your review of the literature or literature review. Secondly, you're going to look in your research methods. And the final journal article that you're able to get out is an overall report of your research study. So in this case, Dr. Rhodes would write up a scientific report or a research report, and that would be used as the manuscript that she would submit to the journal for publication. So that in that case, it's just an overall report about everything in the study. You're basically writing up a brief summary of your whole dissertation and putting that out as a publication. And so that would be the third area for sure. Now, as I look through her table of contents, though, here, I actually think some of her findings at the end, if she talks specifically about those findings, she can mention that it came out as dissertation data, but then talk specifically about um, perceptions and findings that she found in the study. I actually think she might be able to get another article out based on any of those unique findings that she had as individual articles. So I think from her, she could probably pull three or four from this dissertation. All right, and so those are the three primary areas or the three journal articles I think all of you should be able to pull out of your dissertation. Now, go back and take a look again at the literature review, go back and take at the research methods, and if nothing else, you should be able to get one article that's a report out on your whole dissertation. All right. Now, those can lead to your first peer-reviewed journal articles. Okay, now listen, I am looking for a couple of people who have either already finished their dissertation or they finished their dissertation. I don't care if it's been 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, and they've never published from it. I'm looking for a couple of people that would let me take a look at their dissertations and make some recommendations to them about what they can publish from their dissertation or some areas that could be potential journal articles. So if you'd be willing to do that, then hit me up at drx@womanistscholar.org. Now listen, I'm putting this video out on, wait, I'm looking at the calendar, on Thursday, October 3rd, 2024. And I'm giving people until October 5th to send me an email. October 5th, 2024. If you're watching this after that time, then I am grateful that you'd be willing to do it, but yeah, I'm not taking any more after that, okay? So if you're an early bird that happens to watch this on October 3rd or 4th, and you're willing to let me take a look at your dissertation and give you some hints and make a video about it, I am open to that. Drop me a line, drx@womanistscholar.org. And that is it for today. Listen, if you have questions about anything that I've covered today, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Thanks so much for watching and have a terrific day. Hey, thanks so much for watching today's video. I appreciate you engaging with the content here on The Womanist Scholar. Now, if you haven't already done so, please feel free to click the like button and also think about subscribing. That way you'll be notified whenever another video like this one comes out. Thanks so much for watching and have a terrific day.